What's going on? We're back for another amazing episode of the Innovator Hour, and I got a very special guest in the building, man. Come on, my first photographer. I think it's only right that it's you, Nathan James. How you doing, bro?
Yes, sir. What's good, man? I'm doing Gucci. How you?
I'm doing good, bro. Thank you for coming today. I appreciate you sliding on me.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. To start off, you let the people know where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, so Instagram, that's Nathan James. Everything else, that's Nathan James. So that's my shit.
Hell yeah. So I know you're from Denver, right?
Yeah, originally
What was it
from
like
Denver.
growing up in Denver for you?
Man, it was super. Denver, like growing up in Denver is very traditional. Like very typical of like, okay, parents, make sure you go to school, get good grades, play your sports, go to college, get a job one day, And so I was always doing athletics and stuff, and I played, basketball, did wrestling.
Yeah.
I actually went to college for basketball scholarship.
Really? Wait, what college?
I went to Casper College in Wyoming.
Yeah.
And played out there my first year, had a knee surgery, couldn't play.
What, ACL, MCL, what?
It was cartilage, just bone spur stuff.
Sheesh.
Yeah, it was bad. So then I come back my sophomore year in college, and I go to play again sophomore year. Same thing happens, blow out the left knee again, and that was it. Career was over. That was a wrap. And then I started just like, getting into all the creative shit after that.
Yeah. When did you start like taking photos?
So that leads back with the college scene. So all the way up until college, like my whole life was just about like basketball.
Yeah.
Basketball. And I was really good. I was top 100 in the nation off like the ESPN rankings.
Shit.
And so that was my thing, man. I was dunking in 8th grade. Like I had bounce like crazy. I was an explosive player. And that's probably why my knees like gave out, you know. Just my body
What
couldn't.
position?
Point guard.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Okay.
6'2" point guard with bounce. I was scary. But yeah, no, I was doing all that stuff, and when I had that second knee surgery, my mom sent me a camera in the mail. My mom's an art teacher.
Yeah.
And like I had her in art class when I was in high school and everything.
Yeah.
So when she sent me that camera, it kind of just that sparked the whole flow of to where everything's at now.
Oh, yeah,
And I remember getting on Instagram, seeing this guy named John Bourne.
Yeah.
He's just also a dope artist.
He's actually good friends with my old roommate who's an artist as well.
Really?
Painted Profit. I don't know if you know that.
Yep. That's crazy,
That's
man.
small world.
Fuck. Yeah, so I saw the boy John like hand painting shoes.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's dope, man. Like I love shoes. Like I want to do that too. So I started painting my own shoes, got all the
Really?
paints and shit. And I was in my dorm room, and I would just paint all night, this little light. And I was just on the desk, like painting,
Yeah.
And then my teammates saw it. And, this is before all the painting shit was going on. So people would be like, man, what are those? Like, because it doesn't look like they're painted.
Yeah.
It looks like factory made shit.
Yeah.
So when they start seeing that, they're like, yo, do something to my shoes. So I start charging people, and then, I started making money like that.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, my whole dorm room, man, I had like shoebox piles everywhere, all over the room
Everybody
of
wants to
orders.
do
Yeah,
shit.
man. People were shipping me shit from out of state,
Yeah.
out of the country, and they just put the cash like in the shoes, or
Yeah.
they'd PayPal, Venmo, whatever.
That's lit.
But yeah, so that started having taking the photos, and then I got into painting on girls, like body art.
Yeah.
I'd actually like have a girl naked and paint on their bodies.
Yeah. I think that is probably one of the coolest things ever.
Yeah, this shit was that shit was cool, man. And I remember when I first started, I was like, where am I gonna find a girl who's comfortable enough to just stand there for like 6 hours naked while I paint her?
Yeah.
And I was like, the strip club.
Yeah.
So that's where I went to the strip club, met this girl. She was cool. I painted her, and then I only did like a couple girls, maybe like 5 or 6 girls. And then when I was done painting them, I'd take like the photos, just real simple, just to show like what I painted on them. And that's when I was like, I think I like taking pictures of people. That's the type of photography I like the most is actual like portraits and like fashion and shit like that. And then that kind of sparked that whole direction, going into like all that shit.
What was the first photo you ever took?
With like professionally wise, right? Like first shoe shit.
With the camera that your mom
Oh, with the camera. I mean, it was those shoes, but the first like photo shoot I set up, I was at this bar.
Yeah.
And I met this girl, and I thought she was cute, and I was like, hey, I'm trying to be a photographer. Would you be down to be my model for it? You're good looking. Like, let's do it. So she said sure, and I set up the shoot. We had a couple locations. And I remember after I did them, I was like, "Yo, man, these are like the most fire photos ever." You know, not that they're horrible, but the shit that I do now is like crush that. You know, and so
progression.
Yeah, big time progression. And then, funny enough, later that night, I'm at this lounge, and my homies know I'm trying to get the photography scene shit, and they're like, "Yo, if you really trying to do this, you should go talk to that lady named Rue Black." Yeah. And this is a kind of like promoter, industry person, writer in Denver, Colorado. Yeah. And so I go to talk to Rue, and I just walk up to her like I've been doing this shit for a minute, and my shit's the shit. And she's like, "Oh, that's dope. I got Mac Miller performing at Red Rocks, and he needs a photographer like for the day while he's out here. Would you, be down to do that? Yeah. Have you ever done that before?" Wow. And I just looked at her and go, "Fuck yeah, it's not a problem." And then I
feel that.
Yeah, So sometimes you gotta really just fake it till you make it, and that's what I did. So I had a month. Because it was on Halloween. It was October 1st, and the show was October 31st, right? Yeah. So I had literally had a month. So I'm figuring out how to work my camera. I'm going into camera stores. I'm asking random people. I'm driving to shops, YouTube videos, trying to figure this shit out because I really want to deliver it right. Yeah. And, it just seemed really hard to get the information that I needed to know how to do this. And,
why is that?
I think because a lot of people were giving me the runaround. Yeah. Like not really giving me like how to do it. Like if someone were to ask me now how to do that shit, it'd take me fucking 10 minutes to explain to them like, yo, you got to do this, stay away from this, get this type of lens, shoot at this setting, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And everyone I had asked just kind of gave me this, convoluted like answer of not really knowing. Yeah. And so that was kind of what made it tricky. Yeah. But I was sneaking into clubs and different like venues practicing this shit. Yeah. So when the day of the event comes, peep this, when the day of the actual event comes, the concert, I get there early and it's at Red Rocks. It's a huge like outdoor stadium in Colorado. Like it's actually like in Red Rocks, the stadium. Holds 10,000 people. And so I get there early and I got my camera on me. This guy comes down the stairs. He's another artist. I don't know who he is. And he's talking to me. He's like, "Yo, you a photographer?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "I'm looking for a new touring photographer, someone to come on tour with me and stuff like that." Yeah. It's like, "Bro, that's what I'm trying to do." Yeah. Like he goes, "Can I see some of your stuff?" And so from all the shit that I was practicing over that month, I showed him some of the stuff. It's like, "Man, I fuck with that shit. It's hard. You gotta get my number. We'll talk." Yeah. So while this is all going on, his homies are like in this Uber and they're like, "Yo, we gotta go. Come on." Like it's a very like rushed moment. Yeah. And so he's like, "Give me your phone." He puts his number in my phone. He's like, "Yo, let's talk." Boom, boom, boom. Hands it back to me. Goes to shake my hand. Tory Lanez. "Nice to meet you." Wow. And so that's how I met Tory Lanez.
Wow.
And I'd done some just different like stuff for him. Yeah. And then from there, that's kind of how I got into the concert scene for a little bit. Yeah. But I didn't like that too much. I liked it at the time a lot when I was doing it. Yeah. But then I started to see like the more creative jobs and better paying jobs were in fashion, beauty, and stuff like that. Yeah.
I know you went on tour with Post Malone as well, right?
I did just a couple dates with Post. Okay. Yeah, just a couple like pop-up dates with Post.
Yeah. How was that?
That was great. It was actually super surreal because one of the dates was when he was on tour with Justin Bieber. Yeah. And I remember being on the tour bus. It was just me, a couple other guys, and Post. Yeah. It was just a very calm situation. Yeah. Just in the bus, no music playing, very calm, just chilling, no noise, no sound, nothing. Yeah. And then all of a sudden the front of the bus door opens and Bieber walks in. Wow. And he just walked right up to me. It's like, like, as if he knew me. What's going on, dog? And I was just like, what up, Biebs? Like that was my first time meeting him like that. And it was just such a casual situation. It was crazy,
Did it Post Malone got you a chain, right?
A chain?
Yeah.
No.
No? Post Malone didn't get you a chain? I got the wrong information.
No. I did this really iconic photo for Post though. And that's what kind of honestly put me on towards a lot of like fashion and like portrait photography stuff. Yeah. And so that photo when it was released and he had posted it, it just had gone everywhere.
Really?
Yeah, every magazine stuff. And even now like the image is used on all sorts of merchandise and people are stealing it, which is all good because my attorney's handling that right now. And same with we're handling all that right now because that's a check coming, you know. And sure. I was waiting on that. Yeah, so that's all fun.
What was
coming
the first
together.
camera that you used?
It was an Olympus. It's a little bullshit digital Olympus.
What do you
camera.
use now?
A Canon 5D Mark IV.
Okay.
Which is well, that's what I'll use for a lot of stuff, unless I know like something's gonna be printed on like a billboard or whatever. Yeah. Then I'm gonna use like a Hasselblad, which is just a super high megapixel camera, so the image can be blown up like huge. You feel me?
Yeah. When you first started in the beginning, you were just kind of like. Of course, you were doing stuff for free. You were just kind of just grinding it out.
Yeah, I mean, luckily for me, like that Mac Miller shoot was my first ever like paid shoot. Yeah. So I did one shoot with a girl to just like test my photography skills and try it, and then next thing you know, my next shoot's a paid shoot for Mac Miller. Yeah. So like that was crazy. So, there's definitely times in starting anything where we got to like do favors for people, but luckily for me, I was just blessed to just not have to do too much of that. And then now, I mean, it's crazy. Now I'm for sure one of the highest paid photographers in the world. Yeah. For sure. Yeah, without a doubt.
Hell yeah. How does that feel?
It's great, man. Yeah, no, it's cool. Sometimes like I look at like just different things. I'm like, man, this all started back in like the dorm room. I know, right? with good old moms, sending me over the camera.
I know, right? You never know, like. I think that the beautiful thing about life is you never know what direction you're going to go, but I feel like once you find something that you're passionate about, the sky can really be the limit.
Yeah,
you're
man.
An example of that for
it's
sure.
Crazy. And that was the hardest thing, because like, look, in certain industries or like certain careers, right, there's a quote unquote, blueprint, kind of an idea of how things work. Yeah. In the photography game, there's not that information and knowledge is really not out there. Yeah. There's a lot of leave it up to you to play trial and error and discovery. Yeah. So I mean the stuff that I've done now is different, and just how I do it on the back end of business is very different, and I would say not traditional of how a lot of photographers are doing it. Yeah.
Why do you think people are so, I guess, not reluctant to pass along information to others?
I think people are ultimately like afraid to everyone's afraid that someone's gonna steal their shit. Yeah. Right. They're gonna steal their clients. They're gonna steal their money in any business. Right. Yeah. And what's fake about that is, if you're dope, you're dope. And if people like you, they're gonna like you and they're gonna want to work with you. Yeah. Like I have no problem giving people information on how I do my shit, because at the end of the day, like I have my own style. Yeah. And my own way of doing stuff, and like even people who know how I do my shit can't get their photos to look like mine in certain things, Yeah. Like I'm really known for my portraits. Yeah. Like now I shoot a lot of album covers, singles, and different artists will hit me up to shoot that stuff. Yeah. So that's where a lot of my money making comes from. Yeah. Is the covers and stuff like that, and campaigns with brands. Yeah. So like I did a campaign for Champion. I'm working on doing some stuff with K-Swiss and Kappa right now, doing like some big campaign stuff. And then, the toughest part is in the photography industry is like you have stuff that's commercial work, like I'm paying you to do this, but then you also have your creative side. Yeah. And I haven't been able to tap much into just doing the shit I want to do because I've been booked so much doing all these like paid shoot stuff. Yeah. So that's why this year, I did my Nightmares art gallery. Yeah. And that was 6 images that each represented a different nightmare or insecurity that we go through in our lives or are currently going through or will go through in the future, right? Yeah. So 6 images, and they're all named after different questions. Yeah. So like one of them was, why can't I feel anything? Am I good enough? Is this how it ends? Can you hear me? Am I alone? And then do you give a fuck? Yeah. And so I did that gallery in October, and it was amazing. It sold out 8 times over the venue limit. Wow. I had random just like celebrities coming through there that I didn't even like knew me. Yeah. Like Ja Rule came through, and it was like Irv Gotti came, all them were like, what up, and it was wild, bro. Yeah. Sold some really good pieces there too. Yeah. And then the next thing I was like, what's something different that no photographer's ever done? And I was like, I'm gonna make a song myself where I'm the one singing, kind of sing rappy, you know, about each piece. So I'm gonna make six songs.
Each piece will have its own individual, unique song.
And that's the thing that's always pissed me off as, you know, a creator, is anyone who's doing something visual, creative wise, like, especially with photography, there's so much that's being said, but it's not heard.
Yeah.
You know, so like when I did those images, there's so much in my head that's being said or that I'm feeling when I get to create my own shit.
Yeah.
But it's not physically being heard.
Yeah.
So I was like, the only way to really make this shit heard is music. That's where people really engage and listen and will have the opportunity to spread it the most.
Yeah.
So like even the music videos that I do to it are gonna really be heavy on incorporating the piece in the video.
Yeah.
You know, so it'll be cool. Some different shit.
What is like your plan behind the music? Like you're gonna release like a whole project, or you? What can we expect?
Yeah, no. Originally, I wanted to release like an EP. At first, but I'm just gonna do singles. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure as of right now, the first song I'm gonna put out is called "Am I Alone?" Yeah. So that'll be that piece.
When can we expect it?
The goal is end of January. 2020, end of January. Yeah. Music video and record too. So.
Like what made you feel like this was the way to go?
No, it's weird. So with me, I'm different. Anyone who really knows me understands that I'm somebody who does not see any rules, does not see any trends or what can happen or can't happen. I'm just somebody who, when I want to do something, I'm just gonna do it. And whatever the end result may be is what it will be. You know, sometimes you're not gonna win at everything you do. You know, definitely. But you definitely ain't gonna win if you don't try.
Nah.
So you don't
hit no shots you don't take.
Yeah, right. So you just gotta have the mentality of just having, you know, not making decisions out of fear, and that's something I always say. It's just like no fear. You can't have just when you know you want to do something, go do it, and make sure you put 100 into it, and whatever happens after that happens. If you fall, pick yourself back up, and do it again. You know,
that's the name of the game for sure. Yeah. That's dope. I think it's very unique that you're gonna do that, and hasn't been done before. So I think as a creative, you gotta find ways to up the bar and take it to the next level.
Yeah, like
that would be the way for you.
I mean, I always try to keep it real and super transparent. I've never heard of anybody doing that. Yeah. And the fact that I'm gonna be the first to do that is fucking iconic in my eyes. That's very different.
Hell yeah, and for unique. Sure. I think that would be hella dope. I think that it's all based off these pieces you created, or it's like that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. My whole thing was like, you know what? What would happen if I had one concept and like project idea, and I mixed multiple art mediums with it? Yeah. So I'm gonna have the actual photograph, like the piece. Yeah. And then I'll have the visual of the music video, and then I'll have the audio, which is the song. Yeah. So I'm mixing those 3 art mediums into one project. Yeah. So I'm excited, man. Like I like shit that makes me excited. Like I have so much clients. Yeah. I have so much work. Always hitting up all the time. Like that side of the business with photography is so established and good to go. Yeah. That I was kind of just getting bored. Like I want to do something different. I like the chase. Yeah. I want to chase after also building something else and do something new.
Of course, as you should. I mean, I feel like you got to mix it up. Even with me, like I'm like, the standard interview is cool, but I need to find ways to do the interviewing. But maybe let's go to their house. Let's go to play video game. Let's mix it up. Let's switch it up. Let's keep it fresh.
You got to, and just like too, when this is what going back to when we say cultural norms, or like the society's way of like these invisible rules of how things should go. Yeah. Like what would happen if you weren't your brain wasn't conditioned to say like, okay, when you do an interview, it has to be in a studio.
Exactly.
And it has to be here, and it has to be like this. Yeah. Like when you just break those barriers down and be like, well, what would just be dope? Yeah. What would be cool? What's another cool way of doing something? That's when like our imagination and creativity really expands. Exactly. And just like a photographer with what I'm doing, it's like, okay, when you're a photographer, you do this. Yeah. You don't show yourself. You don't talk, you just show your images. Yeah. Well, fuck that. I'm going to do what I think's dope and cool. I'm showing myself. I show my images. I'm going to start making music about my images, doing a video about it. Like, I'm just doing what I think is cool.
And who's going to tell you no? And whose decision is it to tell you that you can't do that?
I'm saying, right? So, but everyone wants to get so caught up and worried about what others will think. Yeah. And when you do that, like, you don't make history by following the rules,
not,
you know.
not for
So
sure.
like if you're trying to do something that's next level and different, you gotta be okay with bending and those rules. And I always stress to everybody, no matter what it is you're doing, if it's entrepreneurial or working a 9 to 5, like the concept of make good art.
Yeah.
Like if anyone ever walks away and just hears anything that I got to say, like when I'm gone from this place, it's just know that I'm the one who told you, just in any times of good times, bad times, happy times, just make good art.
Yeah.
Like there's so much that heals just to create, think, do, read,
Yeah.
talk with somebody, like just be passionate on just making good art. Don't focus on like the money things and how am I going to make money? How am I going to make money? Like if you make dope shit, if you make
The
good
money will
art,
come.
if you have a good product,
Yeah.
the money will just come.
Definitely.
And so that's why just your number one focus has got to be just make good art, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah, that's my
Nah,
thing.
Definitely. Nah, I 100% agree. And I feel like you with you going into your own like lane like this, you'll continue to be at the level that you're at.
Yeah,
For sure.
100%, man. Like that's the goal.
Can you tell me about your process from pre-production to post-production when it comes to doing a photo shoot?
Yeah, it's funny. It's changed. It's changed over like the couple years that I've been doing this. Cause I've only been doing photography like for real for like 3 years.
Yeah.
But I only look at this last year as like my rookie year,
Yeah.
because the first 2 years I was doing all that full time and everything, but I really didn't like dive into it deep and heavy like I did this past year in 2019.
Yeah.
And I fucking murdered 2019.
Yeah.
But the process changes, Some shoots are like, definitely take a lot more prep
Yeah.
and production to get behind it, and others are much more simpler. It just kind of depends on what shoot it is and your client and stuff. But if any advice I'd give to any kind of other creative is just make sure your shit is charged.
Yeah.
and you have good stuff, like if that's what your full-time career is, make sure you have the best shit,
Yeah.
because that's how you make your bread. So don't try to cut corners with like having BS stuff, because you can definitely cut corners with having BS stuff,
Yeah.
but it just makes your life harder and just a higher percentage for error or some type of bullshit to go wrong. So just get good stuff,
Yeah.
and make sure you just always double check your shit. That's
Definitely.
for sure. Yeah.
What is the hardest part about planning and executing a photo shoot by yourself?
When I'm like for a client, or when I'm doing something just on my own creative.
Either or.
I'll say so. It's easier for when you're like hired by a client, because they usually kind of have an idea or a plan of who's the model gonna be and what they want to do. So that's kind of those shoots are, they don't require as much work on my end to like set up. Now sometimes they do. Sometimes they might want me to produce the whole shoot or find the model, find the location, do everything.
Yeah.
So it just depends. But the trickiest part, but also the funnest part, is when I'm doing something for my own like creative project, just like I did with Nightmares.
Yeah.
That's the best, when you can just, you're not,
Have full control.
yeah, you're not being hired to do something. You're just like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what I like. This is what I'm gonna create.
Yeah.
Those are always the best ones. Yeah.
What softwares do you edit your pictures in?
Lightroom and Photoshop. A lot of people are starting to like to use like Capture One when they shoot.
Yeah.
Which is where like, I'd be holding the camera, and then there's a cord that connects to a laptop or a desktop or a computer, and as I'm taking the pictures, the images pop up on the screen, so like the clients or art director can see what's being shot.
Wow.
Which is cool. I've done that for some shoots. I don't personally like it. It's just,
Why don't you like
it's
it?
kind of a hassle. Sometimes it's just like, it's not always the most reliant.
Yeah.
I rather just shoot, and then I can just hand them the camera and they can zoom in and look at
see,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool thing. It's a wow factor for
Yeah.
sure. But me personally, like, it's all about end result.
Yeah. Do you have a photo that you took that you loved the most?
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a couple, but I think one that I obviously can't say I can't not say I love it the most is that Post Malone photo I took of him.
Yeah.
It was a portrait shot with like his hands on his face before he was all tatted, and he's like smiling like that. And yeah, I mean, I gotta love that photo. That shit just was an iconic photo, and it kind of opened a career for me, Yeah, so kind of put my name out there.
Have you ever been nervous when you have to shoot like a big client or anything?
Nah, never. And trying to think, like, it's just becomes such the norm.
Yeah.
And like it's a weird, like people don't see I mean, I don't know, maybe they do, maybe they don't, but when people hear the word photographer, I think it's changing now.
Yeah.
But I think before, people wouldn't hear photographer and think rock star.
Yeah.
You know, and I say rock star in the aspect of like just, you know, not the drugs and the alcohol and shit like that, but I say rock star just like the lifestyle's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and that's very much how my lifestyle is. It's so random. It's so last minute. It's so spontaneous.
Yeah.
I make a lot of quick money.
Yeah.
And but it's really hard to get to that level that I'm at with
Yeah.
it. You know, to have like that respect and the clientele. You know, it's almost like being a music artist, I guess. You know, like there's not many music artists who like really make it.
Yeah.
And when you really make it, it's a special thing. You know, and I've been fortunate enough to reach that level where like I'm really doing really good.
Yeah.
As a photographer in this industry, you know, yeah.
Which is lit.
Yeah, which is, it's tough. I think it's honestly harder than doing the music shit, because it is tough, man, because especially there's a lot of motherfuckers doing shit out there for free.
Yeah.
Their shit's not even close as good, but people will take it.
People, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
so there's a lot of people, there's a lot of people doing stuff for free or for cheap.
Yeah.
So like, you know, to build like, yo, you're gonna pay me thousands
Yeah.
versus this guy who would do it for free. Like, you have to have something special that's gonna sway that person to know, like, yo, this is why I gotta go to him. Fuck this guy.
Exactly.
You know?
Nah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
What went into the decision to move to LA, and how do you think LA helped your career or changed it?
Yeah, fuck. You know, it's crazy. So when I was in college, I was doing the photography and the shoe shit. You know?
Yeah.
That's how I was making my money getting through school. And I remember I was doing a commercial for this private jet company. This story is fucking this story is crazy, yo. Like, you listen to this shit. So I was doing this commercial for this private jet company.
Yeah.
And there was a girl I was talking to at the time, and she worked at the company as like a receptionist.
Right.
You know, she's just this young little cutie. And so she got me the job to do the commercial. She referred me, you know. So I do this commercial thing, and I meet the owner of the company.
Yeah.
And he just liked me a lot, and we kicked it off. And, you know, I told him about to graduate college, and he was like, you know, hey, when you're done with school, man, if you ever want a job, you got one here. You know, I go, oh, well, I don't know, I'm trying to do this. He goes, bro, like, we pay well, you know, it's a private jet industry. I was like, well, how much we talking? You know, he told me. I was like, oh shit, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, I might think about that.
Yeah.
So I convinced, peep this, the last semester of my senior year of college, I convinced my teacher to let me finish online so I could take this job.
Yeah.
So I take this job working for the private jet company, and I'm the youngest employee to have ever worked in the company.
Yeah.
The next youngest person was 40.
Wow.
I was 23.
Wow.
So I'm doing this job, and I'm killing it in sales, and I move up in like the first, I don't know, like 2 months or 3 months to sales director of sales.
Yeah.
And you know, I was crushing. And so I only worked at that job for a total of 6 months.
Yeah.
But during that time, I was getting ready to buy a house in Denver, Colorado.
Yeah.
You know, I was 23 and I was gonna buy a crib out there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I was like, you know, I'm gonna buy a house, and I was like, this is crazy. Like, you know, I'm still in college.
Exactly.
You know, and I just got this job, and I'm gonna buy a house.
For
You know, like,
that's not normal.
yeah, you know what I mean. And I was gonna buy a house. You know, and within like working at this job for only like 3-4 months.
Yeah.
And I was still doing my photography stuff on the side, but not as much. I was kind of I wasn't neglecting it, but I was keeping it afloat.
Yeah.
You know? And then I had this baller apartment in downtown Denver.
Yeah.
And it was just lit. You know? I was really like living like the bachelor lifestyle, you know?
Yeah.
And so I remember I woke up, man, 3 days before I was supposed to move into the house.
Yeah.
I woke up on my birthday, March fucking 27th. And I woke up and I said, what the fuck am I doing in Denver, Colorado? And why am I not shooting and doing all that shit? You know, all the photography stuff. And I was like, this ain't it. I was like, this is not for me.
Yeah.
And I wasn't liking that job either. Like I'm a creative person.
Yeah.
To wake up 9 to 5 and do that, bro. Whoa,
Yeah.
no way, not for me.
Yeah.
You know, suit like.
You had to
Imagine me suit and tie. Like I'm not the guy that's a suit and tie type of guy. You know.
every day.
Yeah, that's not my shit. So that ended real quick. That's why I only lasted like 5-6 months.
Yeah.
And I remember, but I woke up on my birthday and I said I'm out. I went into to work and I said I'm gone. I'm done. I'm moving to California.
Yeah.
They were just so shocked, and my parents were like, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing?" You know, like you have you know it made, like you're so set.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, I'm just not happy. This is not what I do. Like you know, I need to be doing all my photo shit like I was in college and shit. So I come back to my apartment, buy out of the lease. Cost me $2,000 just to buy out of the lease. Spend the money, do that. Got my earnest money back on the home that I was about to buy.
Yeah.
And then I made a post on Instagram. I was like, yo, I'm moving to California.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that I could stay with? You know, I could pay like some money till I figured out of where I want to go and stay in California. So my cousin hits me up and is like, yo, you can stay at my mom's boyfriend's house.
Their mom's boyfriend's
My cousin's mom's boyfriend's house. So I'd never met the guy. I don't know where he lives. I don't know what kind of house he got. And I'm like, boom, I'm there.
Yeah.
And he goes, when are you coming? I said, tomorrow. So I packed up my car, hired movers to come to my apartment and put all my stuff at my mom's house in my old room.
Yeah.
Stuffed my car with as much shit as I could. I drove 16 hours straight from Denver, Colorado to Burbank, California.
Burbank.
Burbank. So I roll up, I see the palm trees and shit. I'm like, wow, you know, LA type shit.
Yeah.
And I meet this guy, and awesome guy. I fucking love him. He's a killer guy, but he's very old school.
Yeah.
Like his house has never had an update or anything replaced or touched since forever, you know? And so I walk in there, and he shows me the room, and there's just this little mattress on the floor. And I went and think about this. I went from living in this really like nice, fancy like place to this tiny room, bro, where I'm touching the walls.
Shit.
I'm dead ass touching the walls side to side like this, bro. Touching the walls side to side like this. And I remember I sat on this little bed. I just said, man, what the fuck did I just do?
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, I just changed my life in 3 days.
Yeah.
Quit the job, quit the money, said, fuck it, I'm moving to California, and here I am now, fresh start, all over.
Yeah.
And fast forward almost 3 years now. I've been here for almost 3 years in LA. I'm making like triple the amount of income I was working for that private jet company as a photographer doing my own thing.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show, like, yeah, great. The money's cool. Making even more money than I was at that job. But the real story is, like, just do what it is you want to do.
Yeah.
You know, chase doing what you're doing. You know, if I were broke and just barely getting by doing this shit, I'd still be doing it. You know, because I like it. You know, and that goes for regardless if 10 years down the line I love something else and want to do something else. I'm the same way. I'm gonna just grind and get it how I get it, and as long as I'm able to financially support myself and do well with it, I'm gonna keep going. You know, and anything above that is just an extra blessing and more icing on the cake.
Hell yeah, that's a great story. I think the people watching this will definitely could find inspiration, because I feel like there's a lot of people that want to move to LA that aren't from here. I'm from the Bay Area. I had to even move out here, but it wasn't. I came out here for school per se, so it wasn't like that hard because I was going to school. But like, there's a lot of people that want to move to LA.
Yeah,
I feel like they need that push.
That's so true. Yo, I always tell anybody this: the 10 grand plan.
Yeah.
If you're wanting to move to LA from whatever your city, make sure you kind of are dominating what you're doing in your city a little bit, you know, like kind of don't be so fresh to just jump into LA because you'll get eaten, you know. But if you kind of are doing whatever it is in your own city that you want to do in LA, then I always 10 grand plan, save up 10 bands and just come to LA and just, it's go time. You know, your time is $10,000.
Yeah, don't come to LA with no money.
Yeah, don't come to LA with no money. At least I would say bare minimum, at least come to LA with 10 grand.
Yeah. And
just try to figure it out. And it's, you're not gonna be living all luxury when you come here. Like if you got to sleep on a homie's couch, the fucking cousin's mom, boyfriend's goldfishes, shit like I did. You know, like you're just gonna have to make it happen. Yeah. You know, and I call it getting ugly. You just got to get ugly, and just get dirty, man, and just figure out how to make this shit work.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if you make it work, you make it work.
Did you have the chance to shoot Juice WRLD?
I didn't.
You did it.
No.
Okay. And I saw the picture on your Instagram, but I wasn't sure.
Oh yeah, that was just a little tribute,
Okay,
like
for
you
sure.
know, yeah,
Nah,
rest
in
up
peace,
to
Juice, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I think that was like kind of like the elephant in the room at Rolling Loud. Like nobody was. Some people were talking about it, but like they wasn't
Yeah,
talking
man,
about it like
fuck.
that. Yeah.
Super sad.
But you have shot for like a lot of big artists.
Yeah, tons.
Tory Lanez, YG, Dolph, Baby Golf. Like, what is the process like for someone getting a shoot with these big artists? Like, how does that even work?
Yeah, you know what's crazy is like I remember when I first started, it was a lot of me like trying to finesse and like push open doors to try to get there. But now they're the ones who like directly contact me.
Okay.
Which is great.
Makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, so I had like I'm doing a shoot with Lil Pump in January. I don't know if it's an album thing or single cover or whatnot, but yeah, that's gonna be in January sometime. My manager knows all the details on that, but yeah, a lot of these people just be reaching directly to me now. Like I got a call from his manager, yo, what's up, Pump, trying to da da da.
Yeah.
Boom, yeah.
That's tight.
So
can you talk about the process of being from going from like an amateur photographer to like a professional one? Like how do you switch that gear?
Yeah, you know, that's such a good question because it's like, okay, what signifies someone as an amateur or a professional? You know, because there's no like factual stat of like you've done this, then you're a professional.
Yeah.
You know, or if you have this, you have that.
Yeah.
I think what makes someone amateur and professional is like, you know, I would definitely say if you're able to do photography as your full-time career and full source of income, then I think it's safe to say you can call yourself a professional photographer.
Right.
And if by choice you're choosing not to do photography full-time, you're choosing not to do it full-time.
Yeah.
Because you want to work on other stuff, but you could do it full-time. I still think you call yourself a professional. And it really it's all about the work.
Yeah.
If you have dope shit, you know, I don't know. It's hard to validate what considers professional. You know, publishing. You know, people used to say, "Oh, where you've been published." You know, but there's a lot of people who are dope as shit, never been published in anything, and don't. You know, a lot of people don't know about them, but they have great stuff.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
it's a blurry line for me. I don't know. If you have dope stuff, you're professional. Yeah.
What is a perfect day for you?
Oh man, you don't want to know that. So ideally, what a day looks like for me, or like a typical week or month, you know, is I'm probably doing about. So look, I can only do so many photo shoots every month,
right? Because
for each shoot I do is a day of editing.
Wow.
So like if I shoot you today, then I'm gonna work on editing you tomorrow.
Right.
You know, so like one shoot counts as 2 days. So in a month, we got 30 days.
Right.
So if I did 15 shoots in a month, I'd be working every day nonstop. And I can't have that. I need breaks to work on other shit and manage clients and shit like that. So I try not to do more than like 10 to 12, 13 shoots a month. That way, that's, you know, it's 20 kind of days I'm going to have to be like working on just photo shit. There's other shit I'm working on besides photo stuff too. So it's like, that's a lot just right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a lot of shooting. And then, you know, I don't smoke or drink.
Yeah.
I've never smoked or drank ever in my life.
Why is that?
I don't really know.
Never
no, just it. Yeah, never. Just like I ain't into ranch dressing or mayonnaise. I'm never gonna try that either. You know, never. Yeah, just not my thing. So, but I do love like being social and like partying. Yeah. You know, and I guess a lot of people like to associate party with drugs and alcohol. Yeah. Party for me is like networking. Yeah. Socializing. Yeah. You know, I love talking with people.
Don't even know how to do.
Yeah, right. I love talking with people, and I love talking with women. I'm a huge flirt. Yeah. I got a lot of girls that I love, man. Yeah, just my ting tings, you know. And so yeah, I like to just wake up, man, close a deal, do a shoot, you know, just hit a workout, you know, and
still
then
hoop?
No, not anymore. No.
Now you hoop at all?
No. But yeah, I'll hit a workout, and then you know, I'll just go hang out with a girl, you know, the rest of the day or at night, you know, and wake up and then shoot, edit, deal, close, boom, workout, just you know, over and over again. So
sounds like a great day.
Yeah, no, it's great, man. It's super good.
What is your favorite food spot right now?
it's this little bakery by my house called La Monarca. And they're all over LA, bro.
Yeah.
If you see one, go to one.
All right.
La Monarca.
Okay.
Okay, so
I'm gonna go.
yeah, fire. There's this thing called the blended Oaxaca.
The blended Oaxaca.
Yeah, and it's like hot chocolate with coffee. It's like a hot chocolate with coffee blended.
Wow.
It's so good, bro.
That does sound hella good.
Yeah, it's so good. And they got these tacos too. Ooh, I love them.
They got tacos as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, they got these. Yeah, you got to get the tacos. La
I'm gonna
Monarca.
try it out for sure.
Yeah, it's like they're like a little orange butterfly as their logo. La
Okay.
Monarca. Yeah, they're everywhere.
I like to ask this question to everyone who comes on the show. If you could pick yourself to be any animal in the world, what would it be and why?
I'd be King Kong, homie.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it tatted right here on my arm.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's the shit I always preach. Forever I preach this. King Kong state of mind.
Yeah.
And if someone else, if you ever hear that from someone else, know that they've heard it from me or from someone else who heard it from me and they heard it from them.
Yeah.
Because that is my shit right there. King Kong state of mind. The whole concept of that is like, you have to be going through life that you are the fucking beast of the jungle.
Yeah.
You know? Because look, no one else is thinking you're going to be the fucking man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you got to be your own hype man. And you got to have, and it starts with mindset.
Yeah.
And you got to adapt and practice having that mindset of I'm fucking King Kong.
Yeah.
And I'm running this shit.
Yeah.
You know, because there's just two ways to go through life. You're either going to think like that or be passive and be like, oh, you know, you're going to get stepped on and you're going to get eaten.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially in LA.
Yeah. Yeah. Other LA King Kongs are going to just snap that neck, boy, send you back to fucking Kansas. Yeah.
When people see a Nathan James picture, what is it that you want them to see?
Okay, so that's interesting. When I'm doing my own creative shit, where it's just me shooting the stuff that I want to shoot,
yeah,
I personally like dark shit.
Yeah,
I like stuff that's very emotional.
Yeah,
or very like sexual.
Yeah,
but I like the stuff that's very, on the darker side of things.
Yeah,
you know, that's why Nightmares, the name of that project. But I like when people look at in my images and be like, wow, that's crisp as fuck. Yeah. Like super sharp and just the details crazy and the lighting and the colors. Like a lot of people really like my vibrancy and the colors of when I'm doing stuff. And I wish I could do a lot more of the my own actual personal photograph projects that I can like come up with just stuff that I purely want to do. But right now it's just, you know, I don't have as much time yet. You know, I got to make sure I'm, you know, shooting all these other things right now. You know, I got obligations with that. I gotta handle.
Yeah. What is something that most people don't know about you?
Man, that's a good one. Something that most people don't know about me. I would say a lot of people didn't know I don't smoke or drink.
Yeah, I thought that was a good one.
Yeah, because, you know, a lot of people, when they look at me, they're like, that guy's on something. You know? That guy's doing some shit. But yeah, I don't smoke. I don't drink. Yeah, so I would say that's probably the thing that a lot of people don't know. Yeah, I don't smoke or drink.
When you started,
I never even tried. Yeah, never even tried that shit.
That's crazy.
Yeah, not a sip, not a taste, not a puff, nothing. Yeah.
Hand claps to you. I couldn't say that. I can't say the same, but
But you know what? Recently, I've been considering, would it be good if I smoked some weed? Because I was asking a couple homies, they're like, you know what, man? When I smoke weed, I be getting creative.
See,
you know,
my answer would be yes, but I do smoke a lot of weed.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, something like, would I ever smoke weed one day? Maybe. Yeah. You know, but
you would never drink alcohol.
Nah, definitely never alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely never. That shit's poison, man. That shit's wicked.
It is. And I don't even drink like that.
When have you ever heard someone tell you a good, positive, I got so drunk and fucked up, you know, something amazing happened? It's always like, I got arrested, or I got in a fight, or I lost my car, I don't know, something crazy, you know?
Nah, you're right. Did you ever believe that the camera would take you this far?
No.
When you started?
No, definitely not. Holy shit, no.
Yeah.
And that's the coolest thing, man. Life's just about like the journey, the adventure.
For sure.
You know, and we get caught up with, you know, the norms of society of like, this is how things should go.
Yeah. And
the truth is, it should go how you want it to go.
Right.
You know, so don't Don't let your parents, your teachers influence you, you know, it should be this way or that way. Because guess what? If you let that happen and they influenced you to, you know, work the 9 to 5, guess what? You're the motherfucker waking up every morning to go to that job, not them.
Yeah.
So make sure whatever it is you're doing, it's because you love it and it's what you want to do. Because your mom, your dad, your brother, they ain't going to be doing the job for you. You are.
Yeah.
So don't base your influence on, oh, my parents will be mad. Like, you can't do that. You got to do whatever it is you want to do.
That's 100% true. And I think that's something that I've learned, like, I feel like I learned that when I was 18 and I was in college and I was a computer science major and I was sitting in class like, what?
Yeah, it's like, who influenced you to do that?
My dad.
Right?
He was always saying,
Crazy.
And I'll be like, my dad's not even from the United States. And I'll always be thinking like, why did he, just because he felt like that major made you money. But it wasn't like, I'm sitting in class like, I don't fuck with this shit.
You know what's true about, something interesting about that too is like, the fact that social media is so widespread now.
Yeah.
It's taken down a lot of walls where before, right, like, you know, back in the day, you'd go to school and internet and just what was actually happening in the world was not as accessible as it is now.
Yeah.
You know, so, for example, my hometown, Colorado, like, I can't even imagine how someone would start to become, let's say they wanted to do, like, become a music artist or a film producer or a photographer, like, because that shit didn't even exist as an option to be taught or really, like, learned. You know?
Yeah.
So now with like YouTube and tutorials and Instagram and all these apps and shit, right? Like people can see like, damn, you know, I don't have to do this job. Like I can create my own thing
and make money
and make even more, you know, and make money off it and be happy and everything,
and
you know?
And, enjoy your life, actually.
Yeah, and just be who you are.
Yeah.
Because how many of those people working 9 to 5s are the person who wants to wear a suit and tie? No, like you in a costume.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing Halloween 5 days out the week, dressing up as somebody else that you're really not.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what society's taught. You know, you gotta fit in these categories. And now that's being broken down of like, yo, there's so many different careers that are out there now because of, you know, all the social media stuff that you really can do whatever you want to do. And you know, you don't have to get locked in of, oh, I've been doing this for so many years now. You know, like the saddest shit I hear is like, okay, go to college, get a job, get married and have kids.
Yeah.
God damn.
Like, damn.
Yeah, like live a little. You know what I mean? Like,
where's the fun?
I look at it like as long as you have a beating heart in your chest, there is no age limit or time gap of when you can or can't do something.
That's true.
As long as you got a beating heart in your chest, you have the ability to do what you want to do.
Exactly.
You know? So go do it.
Agree.
Don't people get caught up, oh, I'm this and that. No, bro. You're alive. That's what you are. Go do that shit.
Exactly.
You know?
What do photos mean to you? And I ask you this because when I look at your work, it's deep. You can see that you're passionate about it. You can see, like, when I look at your photos, I see like, okay, you're detailed. I just feel like there's a deeper meaning and you have like a deep ass passion. Of course you do.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, you know, it's weird. So sometimes, like, I get the most creative and most inspired to just work on my shit when I feel lonely. It's weird. You know, it sucks at the same time because it's not always good to feel lonely or, like, sad. But with that, that's kind of like my fuel. That's my gas. That's my gasoline to make the car run.
Yeah.
Is that loneliness. So it's weird, you know?
Yeah.
So I be up, like, late as fuck, man. Like, late.
Yeah.
Like, the sun's coming out, and then I go to bed, and I wake up, and then there's only a few more hours of daylight left, you know?
Yeah.
But I come alive, like, at night, man. Yeah. I just do. And that's where a lot of my passion and just ideas just come in, you know. I'm a very emotional person. When I say that, I don't mean someone who's like a sad person, but I'm someone who's real with like tapping into like my emotions and then being able to utilize them as strengths. And I think people fail to do that a lot. Is anytime they feel like a sad emotion or whatever, right, they want to put it in a negative space instead of a positive space, which goes back to what I say: make good art. You know, at any time, just make art.
Yeah.
Create something.
Yeah.
Do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And too many people, when they get in that spot, they just want to sit
Yeah.
and lay and sulk. You know, but it's like, just get up. Just stand up. Even go for a walk.
Yeah.
Walk back and forth in your house and just think about something.
Yeah.
Call somebody.
Yeah.
Read something. You know, watch something that inspires you.
Yeah.
You know, like, the art, honestly, bro, is creating is the one of the best medicines out there for healing any kind of thing, really,
Yeah.
for real.
I completely agree, for sure.
Yeah.
Nah, that's deep. I fuck with that for sure.
Yeah.
For my final question, I want to ask you, what advice can you give to a young creative who's trying to do great things like you?
Yeah. The number one thing you gotta have is you have to love it, and then on top of that, if you love it, you have to stay consistent and work hard.
Yeah.
Those are the two things. If you can stay consistent and work hard, it will work out.
Yeah.
And just know you're gonna get a lot of no's, but you're also gonna get your yeses, and you only need a few yeses to really be able to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's gonna take a hell of a lot of no's sometimes before you get a couple yeses, but a couple yeses can change your life and really get it going. So you just can't get discouraged. You just gotta keep going and believe in yourself. There's gonna be a lot of people who tell you, "Oh, bro, that's trash. Or, what are you doing, man? That's the wrong thing. You know, why?
Yeah.
Well, that's whack. You know." But sometimes the people closest to you secretly don't want you to succeed.
Yeah.
So you can't.
Which is really the worst shit.
Yeah. So I recommend not listening to anybody but yourself.
Yeah.
Don't listen to anybody. Listen to your heart, listen to your gut, listen to your mind of what it is you want to do, and just go all in and pursue that. And it's okay if you're doing it and you're going all in, you're like, you know what? Fuck, I really don't want to do this anymore. That's fine.
Yeah.
Boom. Pivot, do something else.
Yeah.
But always keep that same mentality of loving it, being consistent, working hard.
Yeah.
Make good
I
art.
like that. I like that a lot. Do you have any final words for the people?
Man, it's your boy Nathan James, the Photo Poppy, and we out.
I appreciate you, bro.
Hell yeah.